Hey y'all, it's Lucy again. This is the second to the last live for the Spooktacular. I'm going to have to figure out what to do after this so I can kind of, keep reaching out, keep coming up with things. It's allowed me to be more creative. So I really enjoyed it. And then seeing everybody in the who comments, it's been so nice because it's like they've made friendships within the lives. So I see Sonia and Gina and Sherry and Debbie and Peggy and Martha. Delvine is here. So Kathy Bradley. So I'm so happy to see you guys. Okay, so I just wanted to show you just sort of some tips for enlarging patterns because when I made the little owl, it is, I've got my ruler here. No, I found it before because I lose everything. Okay, it's about 8 inches tall. And I think at its widest point, it is just under, oh, it's just under 4 inches. Partly I made it because I think I put it on my one of my banners, but I also made it this size so somebody who's got a Cricut Joy can make it too. So that's one reason it's this size. But when I showed it to Susan, she goes, "Oh, I thought it was bigger." I'm like, you get these things in your mind and then somebody else comes up with another idea or just says a statement like that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that might work. Okay, so this one is using the 12 by 12 cardstock from 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop. Look, doesn't it look good? It's so big. I was thinking you could actually, stand it on the tree stump we made, and it really looks used on how to enlarge patterns. So that's what I thought I'd go over. And then the other thing that I thought would look really big is the ravens. The ravens are in the VIP pack, but I've got the ravens. And because I was so busy doing projects for the Spooktacular, I didn't add as many bonus things in the VIP as I wanted. So I went back and I made some flying ravens. Made two versions of the flying ravens. So those have been added. And I added like a pumpkin figure. See, look at that. But also these would be good enlarged. So that, I'm not doing that in the video. I'm going to do the owl in the video. But I just wanted to show you that. And then remember, we've got all sorts of giveaways. And I just added remember the little house giveaway, and that was at your suggestions. So houses. So what I think, we'll pick 3 people. The Batwing, which is apparently the favorite. I was really tickled when I came up with the Batwing design. And then, the cool kind of creepy outcropping that it's on. And then I'm going to give away my version of the, which house is this? This is the Gothic farmhouse. And then I've got the haunted house with porch. So you have to comment on the giveaway YouTube video and be a subscriber. So subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll get notifications. I make pretty cool stuff. So and I don't spam people or anything. So you subscribe to the channel and make a comment, and then we'll pick 3 people to win. And I think we'll kind of pick them in order. We'll have a 1, 2, 3. So number 1 picks the first house, number 2 gets the second, and then whichever one left, number 3 gets that one. Okay. And Sherry says she's working on the Gothic farmhouse right now. So I've loved seeing some people's versions, and somebody did an incredible Christmas one, I think. So these houses, I tried to make them versatile. So even though, the windows can be a little creepy, but they can also just look like normal windows. So this one is a very versatile house, and the Widow's Walk house is too. And you can still get the VIP tickets. They go up on, I think it's Saturday is when the price goes up. I have to ask Susan. She knows all this stuff. Actually, there's a way she can comment. Let me see. Okay, she can comment to me. I've got this kind of guest chat thing where Susan helps me. So let's go to Cricut Design Space so I can show you how to enlarge these patterns. All right, let's start off on the home screen. And now I'm going to click New Project in the upper right-hand corner. You know, I always have to figure out which one is right and left. That's a challenge for me. And now we're on the canvas. Let's go to the upload screen. And this is my owl. I've already uploaded it before, so I'm just going to click on that, add to canvas. And here's the little owl. I'm going to reduce the size just a little bit so I can see it easily. And now I'm actually going to leave it grouped for now. Let's make a shape. Let's do a square first. And let's make it the size of our 12 by 12 mat. But remember that Cricut leaves a little border, like a 1/4 inch border all the way around. So let's make it 11.5. We're going to change the size by going up to this little size area, and we're going to change it to 11.5 inches. Because it's locked, it will keep the same size for both the height and width because it's a square. All right, let's do something else. Let's arrange and send to the back. I'm actually going to make the size on the screen a little smaller with this toggle button down here in the lower left-hand corner. I'm going to do something else just to show you. I'm going to click on the color box and just use a lighter gray so my owl pieces show up better. So this would be the largest size that I can make with a regular 12 by 12 mat. So there are a couple ways to do it. But since I want everything to be scaled the same size, I'm going to leave it grouped. And basically all you do is get one of the corner arrows and move it in a diagonal pattern. If we move it like straight up and down, it just kind of squishes the design. Wait, let me get it right. See? So we don't want to do that. I'm hitting Command Z, the undo button, or Control Z. That's like my favorite button, undo. So I can go back to where I was before I made my mistake or whatever. So let's do the diagonal, and it keeps it proportional. Let's make the owl as big as we can so it will cut on my page. All right, now we can ungroup it. And we kind of can see how the 1 inch scale square, this is one way it helps you if you have a specific size in mind. So we've increased it by 44% because it was 1 inch before and now it's 1.44. So it's increased in size. And I can delete my scale square now by just either hitting my delete key on my computer or my device or the trash can button here under the layers panel. And now I'm going to ungroup the owl. Move my hangers to the side. And that's the little tree branch for the owl. And there are three pieces for the owl. In order to have the eyes stick out, I had to have a black piece behind it. And also, since it's kind of hanging on a wall, it helps if you add an extra layer behind it so that it's stronger and it doesn't bend so easily. So we can see that we can fit both of these pieces on one sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock. And I'm using 12 by 12 cardstock from 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop. And now we can actually, wait, let's do this. I've selected the background square and I'm going to hide it. So I've selected it, so I'm going to the layers panel and I'm going to click this little eye icon and hide that. And I'm also going to hide these because I'm going to show you, I'm going to group them and hide them. And now I'm going to show you something I do because it makes my cutting easier. Let's align them so that they're all lined up, align at the top. They were already aligned, but okay. Now I'm going to attach them. And after cutting out millions or, hundreds and hundreds of designs, I kind of know how my Cricut Maker works. So I'm going to duplicate these a couple of times, 2 times. I'm going to select them all, align to the left, align to the bottom, and they're all lined up. Now I'm going to attach them. So I have 3 layers of design attached together, so it will cut it 3 times, and I know that I need to do at least that many to cut it out with my Cricut Maker. All right, and next let's just go to, I'm not going to save it at this point. And let's go to our mat. Let's shrink it down just a little so you can see. And I move it a little bit down from the edges. I just think it cuts at the edges slightly better if I move it just a little bit away from the edges. And that's one reason I didn't make it the absolute biggest size I could. All right, now I'm clicking the continue button in the lower right hand corner. Select the device. I'm using my Maker. And with my slow internet, it takes just a second. And for this, I'm using heavy cardstock. It cut out, my owls cut out beautifully on the heavy cardstock. Okay, that's what I was going to show you for that one. Let's go back to the home screen. Actually, we can just cancel. Yes, cancel. Okay. Now, actually, I'm just going to do a new one. New, replace. Upload, same design. Sometimes what I do, in case I change my mind about how I'm arranging things, I'll do a duplicate and I'll hide it so I don't have to reload if I've changed things so much. So sometimes I do that. All right, I'm going to reduce it again to about 50%. And let's make one. This design is actually smaller than what you would get with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. So now let's do an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. So I need a shape. I'm still going to use the square. I like the square because it has square corners. The rectangle has rounded corners. I'm on the free plan. I'm sorry. I know I need to get Cricut Access, but I just haven't done it yet. Okay, so let's make a piece of cardstock, a size of the square, into like an 8.5 by 11 cardstock that will cut out on our mat. So first I'm going to unlock it because 8.5 by 11 is not a square. So we want it, let's do 8 inches wide, and let's do 10.5 inches tall, and that's about the size that my cutting machine will cut out with if I'm using 8.5 by 11 cardstock. We can change our color again just to make it a little more obvious. Arrange, we're going to send it to the back and put the owl on top, and now using the diagonal enlargement, let's just make it big enough to cut out on a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I think that looks good. Now let's ungroup. See what our square. So we enlarged this one so I guess about 32%. I think I'm doing the math right. I'm not exactly sure. But anyways, we went from a 1-inch square to a 1.32 inch square. And that is bigger. And the hangers have been enlarged as well. Now you're not going to be able to cut 2 on one sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So you'll have to do, several cuts. Ungroup the aisle. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble saying owl today. Ungroup the owl. Actually, I duplicated it. I'm going to delete that one. So that's going to take one sheet of cardstock. This will take one sheet of cardstock. And let's see if you can get your, yeah, these guys will fit. So you can get your hangers with the same one. We could We can delete our square now. And I just wanted to show you, I just think by using these shapes that it really helps you figure out how to cut things, how to enlarge and shrink them by using these shapes. And you can do the same thing if you want to make a much smaller one. Say you've got some scrap paper and you just want to make a little owl, or you want to make it on some treat bags or something and you just want a smaller owl, then you can do that. The only caveat I have for that is this is pretty detailed, so let's just, wait, let me make a copy. Let's move all this out of the way. Okay, so we've got our owl. We're using our little corner squares. So I think the smaller you get, these pieces will be harder to cut out. Not necessarily impossible. You might have to switch to using cardstock for intricate cuts. When you have little tiny pieces, it matters more that you have a sticky mat, because if the cardstock doesn't adhere fully, it'll lift up and kind of tear. So, but you can shrink it kind of in the same manner. But again, leave them all grouped because you want all your sizes to match. So leave it grouped when you shrink it down. But I just wanted to show you with these little tiny cuts, the smaller it is, the more challenging. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you today. And now I'm going to change cameras. Okay. So we're back. And I was looking at questions. I'm sorry, I was distracted. I looked at questions. Somebody asked what weight cardstock. Whenever you have something really, really delicate, it helps to use a lighter cardstock. So I kind of estimate this way. You see how wobbly that is? That's 65. And that's not a criticism. I'm just telling you that's how you tell the weight. So that's 65-pound cardstock. And the black piece I have is 80 to 110. You see, it doesn't wobble the same. So for the orange, I use in my, my 12 by 12 cardstock shop paper, the orange is probably 65-pound and the black is either 80 to 110. And I like that, especially for the back piece, because it makes it so sturdy. What was the other question? The one was about the weight. Oh, and making it small. I while I was doing the video, I showed you that that it may be challenging. Make it really small just because of all these cuts. Really, one thing we could do is make it just kind of delete some of these things. You could probably the hardest ones are the tail feathers for making it small. So you could actually just kind of just put a sort of delete them, add a square or something so you can get rid of some of these, and that would simplify the design so it would cut out smaller. But you still got the eyes. I think the eyes, they should actually show up on this brighter color. I think the eyes are so cool, but that would be harder to do small. So I think it would be cool to make little tiny ones like as ornaments, some smaller ones. But you're just going to have to experiment. You're just going to kind of have to experiment with it and see how well it cuts. But I do think the smaller it is, I would use a lighter weight paper, a sticky mat, and make sure it's adhered well, and cardstock for intricate cuts. The little ghosts. Somebody was asking about the little ghosts. Yes, I've still got my little ghosts here. Oh, and our paper clay worked. It didn't work it's the first time I ever used paper clay, so they're not wonderful, but I can make another one and glue these two together to have a little pumpkin. And I was kind of surprised. This one I made with a silicone mat. Okay, giveaway, the sale. There is a sale for the tickets. So if you want to get the tickets before the price goes up, it's Saturday at 6 p.m. So the price after the event is over, which we're low, kind of, you want to get them at the smaller one. Instead of having it cut it out, you could draw it. And one of my very favorite. Oh, I think that would look creepy. I'm gonna have to experiment and do that. Francis, that's a great idea. The ravens. Yeah. Oh, you know what? If you want to put little bats on something like small trees like this one, you could just use the outline. You could just use the outline, and maybe just a couple of circles for eyes, but because the outline gives you the idea of an owl sizes. Okay, Amy says the ticket is worth it. We really tried hard, and the people who were in the event with me made really cool things. Like Joa put an entire 3D alphabet. She gave that away, an entire 3D alphabet, and she really does beautiful designs. So I appreciate y'all doing that, and I will try to figure out a way to continue the lives. Maybe schedule them regularly once a week. After I sleep for the weekend, I will sleep and vacuum. I have to reduce the dust level, and then I will start thinking about what's next. Today, wait, let me see. Susan always reminds me stuff. She's kind of in the background. Remember the YouTube and comment on now. So a lot of stuff that people don't discover, and I would like to share that with you, or share you some of my favorite things that are just kind of hard to find. Okay. All righty, y'all. I'll see you later. You take care. I hope you have a good day. Bye.